we're out here talking strawberries today. This is the time of year you want to get your strawberries in. So we'll start real quick with the two basic different kinds of strawberries. So you're going to have, this is a June bearing. You can't tell the difference by looking at them, but this is a June berry. June bearing means that they're going to bear in June. So most of the fruit's going to come on in June, and then it's going to be done. So first week of June they start coming on. They come on hot and heavy for the month of June, and then they pretty much die off. No more strawberries. Then there's everbearing. Everbearing, and hence the name, bears all year long. The interesting thing about that is while everbearing bears all year long, it doesn't necessarily produce more strawberries because a lot of times it produces less strawberries at a time than the June bearings. So you have to kind of think of what you are. If you're one person, you don't need a ton of strawberries. An everbearing row of everbearings might be nice because you're going to get a little bit out of it all the time. If you're really into getting that, making lots of things out of the strawberries, then you're going to want to go with the June berry. So there's also a couple ways to buy that. Well, there's three ways to buy the strawberries. One I highly don't recommend, and the other two I recommend. One is you can buy seeds for strawberries, and if there's a particular kind that you want, then a seed might work, but it's real challenging. It takes a lot of days to get it to germinate, and you're not going to have the strawberries from it for 2 years. The second way is to buy bare root strawberries, and those will not usually produce the first year either, but they'll produce real well the second year. And bare roots are basically a bare root with just a tip. You'll see just a tip of the crown of a strawberry. We'll talk about the crown in a second. But then there's just buying them in a pot. These come from Martin's Greenhouse. You can pick these up. The bare roots, we get them at Indiana Berry down in La Paz. But this is, you can buy them in a pot. I like these because sometimes you'll buy them and there's already strawberries on them. They'll start producing the first year, so you can look at that. Now, another thing that you can do is you can look at Purdue Extension's website and kind of see if there's certain strawberry types that work for this area. Because you look at somebody like, I'll use Indiana Berry for example, they ship all over the world, so they may carry things that aren't really good for this area. Usually they tell what zone they're good for. We're in 5A here, but you want to check and see if there's a certain crop that works better. We've planted all kinds. I'm not sure if I have a particular favorite that I like. So the key to planting strawberries is you're going to want to pull it out of the pot. You're going to want to loosen up the roots a little bit on it. And then you're going to want to plant it at this basically the same height that's in a pot. You can kind of see there's they call it the crown. You got to make sure that the crown is not buried. If you bury this a little deep here, there's a good chance you'll kill the strawberry because you buried its crown, and that's where its starting point is. So you just want to bury it as deep as it is. Strawberries are pretty durable. You want to keep it wet, for the first several weeks, and then it'll kind of get its roots going. So I pulled one out of our greenhouse because strawberries love to spread. So I pulled this one out of our greenhouse because it's a little bit farther ahead of the ones in the garden. It's already got its flowers on and that. And the reason I pulled it out is I wanted to show you how strawberries spread. So they spread by runners. So this is a strawberry runner. If you see, there's already a leaf starting, and what happens is this runner will fall over the edge of the bed, or it'll just move over, and it'll plant itself, and a strawberry will grow out of this. Eventually it'll separate itself. So this plant here, it's got them all over the place. So that's one way that strawberries spread. So you can let them spread that way if you want, or if you want to get a new plant, you can literally put a pot out and throw this in a pot with dirt, and it'll start growing in the dirt. If you want more productive strawberries, at one point you're going to want to come through your strawberry patch and cut these things off, because they're taking energy from the plant growing strawberries, so you're going to want to cut these babies off. So again, if you're wanting your strawberries to spread, you may leave them on. This one here is actually interesting. It's got two of them started on it, one here and one at the end. So this will just fall down in the dirt. A plant will grow here, a plant will grow here. The other problem that creates sometimes is that your patch will get overgrown with strawberries. So every year or so you want to thin it out a little bit. You can thin it out by one. You can dig some of those things out and put them in a different bed and start a whole new bed of strawberries so you have a fresh bed, or you can just thin them out and get rid of them. At one point we had such a thick bed here that the people down in Indiana Berry said I should just take a rototiller down the middle of it and chop it all up so that they could spread back into that area. So one of the things that I also like to make sure that I do is and this bed sank a little bit, so we probably will redo this bed a little bit. I like to get the beds above this level here, because it's easier to harvest strawberries. And a lot of times strawberries will literally just fall over the edge and there'll be strawberries on the edge. That's why we built this 3-tier bed so that we could build it up and then strawberries will kind of just hang right over the edge and you can get to them. So that's pretty much, now's the time. Get out, get your strawberries bought, get them planted, and enjoy your strawberries.